And back in our control studio, Studio 43 in downtown Toronto, along with Jason DeVos, Bob Leonarduzzi, I'm Brian Williams. Jason, the first half here, from an Irish perspective, is almost a mirror image of the match last Saturday against Cameroon.
That's right. Germany have done very well today in the first half, and I think Ireland will need to pick it up in the second half if they're going to get back in this game. It'll be very interesting to see what Mick McCarthy says to his team at halftime.
Well, I think what Mick McCarthy says, you'll probably, Bob Leonarduzzi, be able to hear for some distance away from that dressing room.
Well, there's no question that at halftime of the Cameroon match, he must have gone into the changing room, and I don't think it was tactical. I think he would have gone into the changing room and said, look, we're at the World Cup. Roy Keane's not here. We've got to go out in the second half, and we've got to try and get that initiative back, and that's what they did in that game. They're going to need to do similar in this game.
You raise an interesting point. You say tactical. At this stage, how much is emotional, how much is tactical? And not just for Ireland. I'm talking as a coach
for all teams,
these
yeah. I think you've probably put in all of your preparation up to this point. There are slight tactical changes that might take place in a game, but for the most part, it's this here. And Ireland have a lot of that. They've demonstrated it.
Now, you play in England, Jason, but you're aware of the Irish players, the Irish fans. They do have a lot of this, don't they?
That's right, they do. They're renowned for their fighting spirit. The majority of their players do play in England, and they play their club football there, so they're very, very well known to myself and many other people. They do have a lot of fighting spirit, and they're going to need that in the second half.
They are indeed. Second half coming up. Before that, though, we take a break, and we'll have the telestrator and first half analysis as we continue with our Match of the Day replay on this Wednesday evening. Germany with a 1-0 lead over Ireland.
Listen.
Not a sound. Not a beat. It's the echo of 5,000 years.
Listen. Korea.
Nogomet. 축구.
Dünya Kupası.
Futbol. Podosfero.
Football!
Soccer.
Soccer. Coppa Mondiale.
Coppa del Mundo. Svedski pokal.
Coppa do Mundo!
Pasaules kaus.
World Cup.
Football.
No matter how you say it, it's a beautiful game.
CBC!
CBC.
CBC!
World Cup Soccer on CBC.
CBC!
Louis.
Player Profile, brought to you by JVC. Excite your senses.
Silva was Uruguay's leading goal scorer during the South American qualifiers, and it was a devastating blow when he was stretchered off with a dislocated shoulder during the match against Argentina. The do-or-die playoff against Australia was just around the corner, but he recovered in record time to line up in the second leg against the Aussies, and in fact scored the first goal in Uruguay's 3-0 victory. Silva launched his career at home with Penarol, then moved to Sierra with Cagliari. After disappointing performances and clashes with the manager, he was loaned to Espanyol. As they took their time in signing him permanently, Malaga swooped in to snap him up in 2001. He signed a contract to keep him with the club until 2005. After that, he says he'll retire. So at 29 years of age, this may be his last chance to turn it on for Uruguay at the World Cup Finals.
Player Profile, brought to you by JVC. Excite your senses.
And just a reminder, tomorrow, France-Uruguay on Thursday afternoon. Of course, France upset by Senegal in the stunner a week ago Friday. And Denmark, of course, beat Uruguay. So France takes on Uruguay, and that is tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 local from Manitoba East. Because of the hockey tomorrow night, it'll be at 2:30 Mountain and Pacific times, France-Uruguay tomorrow. And don't forget, Friday night in prime time, Argentina-England at 7:30 local. One more break. Bob Leonarduzzi, Jason DeVos with first half highlights.
Your turn.
Are you a Type S personality? Introducing the new TL Type S from Acura.
A touch of heaven.
When your skin is perfectly soft and perfectly fresh, it's perfectly comfortable. New Lever 2000 Moisture Response with Vitamin E. Its moisturizer goes where you need extra attention, so you can get the perfect clean for all your 2,000 parts.
You got the list?
The list.
Let's see. What do we tackle this weekend?
The deck.
The deck? Doesn't say.
The deck.
Right now, the Home Depot has this lightweight 1,300 PSI pressure washer for only $169. It's great for decks, walkways, and patios, and it's only at Canada's Home Depot. Come learn how to build a deck at one of this weekend's seminars.
Kellogg's cereals. There's a great snack right in front of you. Snack on them.
Alexa McDonough resigns as NDP leader, and the race to replace her begins. Details tonight on The National.
Iginla, Theodore, Sakic, nominees for the game's highest honors, the NHL Awards. With special musical guest, Nickelback. June 20th on CBC.
To them, September 11th was justified.
Everybody was happy with the place at the World Trade Center. Anybody tell you is not happy, they are hypocrites.
Even now, they preach hate and recruit Al-Qaeda members with impunity from their London sanctuaries.
There is no difference between him and Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, he's in here, he's in London.
See how a teenager was turned into an accused Al-Qaeda warrior and the 20th hijacker. The Recruiters, Sunday, June 9th at 8 on CBC.
The Ibaraki region is actually northeast of the city of Tokyo. It's an interesting area, great diversity, mountains, lakes, sandy beaches. It is also at the forefront of the Japanese scientific research and development. And Kashima Soccer Stadium, where they're playing today, has a statue of the Brazilian star Zico, who played and coached in the J-League, and the J-League's getting to be a pretty good league. And of course, his coaching in the J-League helped to boost soccer's popularity in Japan. And on this Wednesday evening, we're back in Studio 43 in downtown Toronto, and let's take a look quickly at the first half stats before getting to highlights and first half analysis. Possession heavily in favor of the Irish, yet Germany has the lead by a score of 1-0. Highlights, Bob Leonarduzzi.
And we're going to look at that goal right now. We'll see Germany on the attack. The ball goes out to Michael Ballack. Irish defense drop off, so he continues to move forward, swings a great ball in. that Miroslav Klose gets on the end of to give Germany the go-ahead goal. Here we see it again. Great ball in, gets up, and heads it down in behind Shane Given. Here we see the Irish defense, and in particular, Ian Hart should have done a better job of getting goal side of Miroslav Klose. He doesn't, and that allows Klose the free header. Klose with a nice little celebration here, little flip. He's happy, the Germans are happy, 1-0 up.
Well, that's like in North American football, when you go deep, the defender has to be almost inside the receiver, right?
Well, and it's a cardinal sin, quite frankly. When the ball's on the opposite side of the field, you have to pinch in as the opposite side defender. He didn't do that, and unfortunately, he's cost Ireland a goal.
Another cardinal sin is faking injury in soccer. We'll show you Rivaldo in just a minute. Bob has some comments. Jason, on the telestrator, let's talk about faking injuries.
Well, the first thing we're going to look at here, Brian, is a little bit of play by Ireland. Robbie Keane picks the ball up just inside his own half. He does quite well here. He progresses towards the middle of the pitch. Ramelow comes out. He skips by that challenge, but watch Kevin Kilban. He makes a great run from deep, and he really wants to get the ball in behind the last line of defense here. But Robbie Keane's got two options. He can either play the ball through the gap between the two defenders, or he can chip it over the top. He's got to get the ball in behind for Kilban to run onto. Unfortunately, he tries to play it along the deck. The ball gets cut out, and the Germans clear the danger. But Ireland need to do a lot more of this if they want to get back into this game. Now, as we said before, faking injury is a real pet peeve, certainly of mine as a defender. I can't stand when strikers go down faking injuries. Here we're looking at Miroslav Klose and Steve Staunton. The ball gets played through, and Klose runs down to the byline. He's basically trying to, sucker Steve Staunton into fouling him here, but Staunton does really, really well. And take a look at Klose. He goes down like he's been shot. I hate to see the strikers do this, and obviously Steve Staunton feels the same way. He goes over to Klose and gives him the what for because he's not too pleased about his behavior. And I have to say that's something I've done in my time as a player as well.
Now, big smile from Bob Lenarduzzi. Let's roll the videotape on Rivaldo in the match against Turkey. He's standing in the corner. Watch the ball. It hits him in the thigh.
Yes.
He grabs his face. Now, this annoys a particular group, right?
Well, it annoys soccer people, but in particular, the people that we're trying to convert in North America, it very much annoys them. They don't understand this side of the sport. And quite frankly, Rivaldo, at this point, it's like getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar. At this point, he should just acknowledge, I shouldn't have done what I did. But even now, he's still defending that he's the one that got hurt. How do you get hurt when the ball hits you in the leg and you hold your face?
Now, Jason, he's been fined, right?
He has been. He's been fined 10,000 Swiss francs by FIFA, which is a token gesture, really. For a guy who's a multi-millionaire, it's a drop in the ocean. But at least they're doing something to try and alleviate this. I mean, FIFA call it simulation. I call it cheating. In my eyes, it's an attempt by the player to influence a referee, and we have to stamp this out of the game.
Well, Rivaldo says, he said, yeah, look, I faked it. He said, but being, the quote is, I think, being sly.
Yes,
part of playing big-time soccer. Faking is also part of big-time soccer.
Well, I think being sly goes with what goes on in the game. But when you consciously set out to get a player sent off, I think there's no place for that in the game, and I agree with Jason. FIFA need to stamp it out. They've made a token effort, quite frankly. They've acknowledged that Rivaldo was wrong. There's no way, though, that Rivaldo was going to get a suspension.
You better believe it. Let's quickly take a look at the scores of the other matches played today as we're in the match replay of the day, Germany-Ireland. Now, all three of us wrote off the United States. We said, hey, South Korea's through after the win yesterday. The Americans with a huge win today over Portugal. No surprise as Russia defeated Tunisia. Just a reminder, the CBC website for you soccer fans is www.cbc.ca. We'll take a break. Second half coming up. We'll rejoin from the BBC, John Motson and Trevor Brooking. A little sushi there, maybe some noodles. I'm hungry.